Find your water shutoff valve. Right now, today, before you need it. Go find it and put a label on it. That's number 1, and I'm starting there because it costs nothing, takes 10 minutes, and it's the difference between a small annoying repair and thousands of dollars of ruined floor. Here's what happens. A pipe lets go, or the water heater starts leaking, or the hose behind the washing machine gives up, and water is coming out fast, and you are standing there in your socks watching it. And in that moment, you do not want to be learning where the valve is. I'll tell you exactly how I know. Saturday morning, and I heard a hissing down in the basement. Went down, and there was water spraying out around the top of the water heater, not a flood, but steady, hitting the wall and running across the floor. And I stood there for what felt like a full minute, and was probably 15 seconds, and my entire brain said one thing: what do I do? That's it. Nothing else. Now, I knew where the valve was. I'd found it years before because my father told me to, and I still went blank for 15 seconds before I walked over and turned it and it stopped. 15 seconds, knowing exactly where it was. If I hadn't known, that's 5 or 10 minutes of searching a basement while water sprays, and that's an entirely different repair bill. So go now. It's usually where the water comes into the house. A basement, a crawl space, a utility closet, sometimes outside near the street under a little metal cover. If you can't find it, the water company will often come and point it out, or ask a plumber next time one's there for anything else. They'll show you in 30 seconds, and when you find it, do 2 more things. Actually turn it, all the way off and back on, because old valves seize up, and you'd far rather discover that on a calm Tuesday than during a flood. If it won't budge, that's a cheap plumber's job, and a very good one to have done. Then label it, a strip of tape, Water Shutoff FF, in big letters. Not because you'll forget, I've just told you my brain went blank when I did know, and because if somebody else is ever in your house helping you, they'll find it in 5 seconds instead of shouting up the stairs while your kitchen floor lifts. While you're at it, learn the little valves too, under the sinks, behind the toilet, those small oval handles. Most water problems are one fixture, not the whole house, and shutting off one sink is a lot less disruptive. 10 minutes. It might be the highest value 10 minutes in this entire video. Hi, by the way. Come in, sit down. Here's what today is about. When you live alone, everything is yours. Every responsibility that used to be split, house, car, money, maintenance, all of it lands on you. And the hard part isn't the work, honestly. It's the feeling that you're not good at any of it, because you've genuinely never had to be. Nobody taught you. Somebody else always dealt with the furnace, and now that's you, and there's this low hum of I don't understand how any of this works. That hum is what I want to take away from you today. 8 things I think every woman on her own should know how to do herself, and I'll be honest throughout about which ones I've actually mastered and which ones I still hire out. Number 2. Reset a tripped breaker. Your electrical panel is that grey metal box, usually in a basement, a hallway closet, or the garage. And here's the thing that will save you the most money in this whole video. Half the power problems you will ever have are just a breaker that's flipped because you ran the kettle and the toaster on the same circuit. Half of them. And people call an electrician. I have called an electrician. He came out, walked to the panel, flipped one switch, and charged me for the visit. He was perfectly nice about it, and I have rarely felt so foolish. So go and look at your panel in daylight, when nothing's wrong, so it's familiar. A tripped breaker sits between on and off, sort of stuck in the middle, and once you've seen one, you'll never mistake it again. And here's the bit people get wrong, which is why they think it didn't work. You don't just push it back toward on, it won't catch. You push it all the way to off first, firmly, more firmly than feels right, and then back to on. That's the whole skill. 2 seconds, and knowing it saves you call-out fees for as long as you live in that house. One important caveat, because I won't be careless here. If a breaker trips once, that's an overloaded circuit. Reset it, Spread your appliances out, fine. If the same breaker trips again immediately, or keeps tripping, stop. Don't keep resetting it. That's the breaker doing its job and telling you something's wrong, and that's an electrician's problem now, not yours. And while you're standing there, label the panel. Turn each breaker off one at a time and walk round finding what died. Kitchen, bedroom, garage. Write it right on the metal with a marker. It's a tedious afternoon, and it pays you back every year afterward. Much easier with a second person shouting from another room, so it's a good excuse to rope in a neighbor or a grandchild. Number 3. Use a stepladder without being nervous about it. I've said before that a stepladder is the best purchase a woman living alone can make, and I stand by it entirely. But using it safely is the actual skill, and nobody explains it. So, on flat ground, never on carpet over an uneven floor, and never, I'll say it twice, never on a chair. Not a chair, not a stool with wheels, not a box, not the edge of the bath. Every one of those is how people our age end up in hospital, and it's always for something trivial like a light bulb. Open it fully so the spreaders lock. That's the metal bar in the middle that goes rigid when it's properly open. If it isn't locked, the whole thing is a folding trap. Face it while you climb, both hands on it, which means whatever you're carrying goes up separately, bulb in your pocket, or set it on the top step first and then climb. That's the mistake I see most often, going up one-handed holding something. And here's the rule I follow religiously. I don't step on the top 2 rungs. Ever. Not usually. Ever. The extra reach isn't worth it, because up there you've nothing to hold, and your balance is entirely in your legs. If I can't reach it safely, I get a taller ladder or I get someone else, and that's decided in advance, so I'm not making the decision while I'm up there wanting to be finished. One thing about buying one, get a light one. If it's heavy you won't drag it out, and a ladder that stays in the garage is worth nothing. Aluminium, 3 or 4 steps, little tray at the top for your screws. Because here's the real point, and it's bigger than ladders. Half the jobs that feel impossible when you live alone are just up high. Light bulbs, smoke alarms, the top shelf, the curtain off its hook. A ladder you trust turns a whole category of "I can't do that" into "give me a minute." That's an enormous psychological shift for about $40. Number 4, change a smoke alarm battery and know the chirp. Everybody knows the chirp. That single beep every 30 seconds that always starts at 2 in the morning. It's a law of nature. And what a lot of people do, and I'm including myself 20 years ago, is stand on something wobbly at 2 a.m., pull the battery out to stop it, go back to bed, and never put a new one in, and then live with a dead smoke alarm for 6 months. I did exactly that. I'm not proud of it, and I'd wager a good few of you have too, so let's fix it properly. Know how yours comes off. Most twist a quarter turn and drop into your hand. Some slide. Do it once now, in daylight, when it isn't screaming, so your hands know the movement. Know what battery it takes, and keep spares somewhere you can find in the dark. Then do the thing that solves it permanently. Change them all on a fixed date once a year, whether they're chirping or not. All of them, same day. I do mine when the clocks change because I'll never forget that. Pick something and write it down. And test them. There's a button. Press and hold, hear the horrible noise, feel reassured, walk away. 2 more things. If an alarm is more than about 10 years old, the sensor itself is finished and a new battery won't help. There's a date printed on the back. And do get a carbon monoxide alarm if you don't have one, especially with gas or oil heat or an attached garage. That one I'd call genuinely important rather than merely sensible, because carbon monoxide gives you no warning at all, no smell, no sound. When you live alone, there's nobody else in the house to notice something's wrong with you. That alarm is the somebody. Number 5. Know your car's basics. Even if you never do a repair, I don't change my own oil. I have zero interest in ever changing my own oil, and I won't pretend otherwise. But there's a difference between doing repairs and knowing your car, and the second one is what actually protects you. I know how to check tire pressure. Underinflated tires handle badly, wear fast, and are more likely to fail, and it's 3 minutes at any gas station. The correct number isn't on the tire, by the way. That's the maximum. It's on a sticker inside the driver's door frame. Go and look at yours, it's right there. I know where the spare is and whether it's inflated, worth checking, because a great many spares are flat and nobody finds out until the worst possible moment on a dark road. I don't change my own tire. I've decided that's not my job at the roadside at my age. What I have is roadside assistance, and the number is in my phone and on a card in the glove box. I know what the warning lights mean, or more honestly, I know where the manual is, and I've turned down the corner of the page. The important distinction being that some lights mean book a service soon, and some mean stop the car now. Knowing which is about 10 minutes of reading. But here's the honest bit, and it's the real one. The skill with a car isn't repair. It's not getting talked into things you don't need. Because, and I'm sorry, but you know it's true, a woman on her own at a garage gets offered things. I've been told I urgently needed work that a second opinion said I didn't need at all. So the actual competence is know roughly what's due when, and when someone says something's urgent, be able to say, "Thank you, let me think about it, and I'll ring you." That sentence is worth more money than any repair skill I could teach you, and you're allowed to say it. You don't owe anybody a yes in their own shop. Number 6. Turn off the gas, if you have gas. Short one, but it matters. Know where the main shutoff is, usually where the pipe enters the house, or outside at the meter. Know what tool it takes, because many need a wrench, and that wrench should live right there, taped to the pipe, or hanging on a nail beside it, so it can't wander into a toolbox and be missing on the one day you need it. And know the rule, which is really the whole point. If you ever smell gas, that rotten egg smell they add deliberately so you can detect it, you do not investigate. You don't go looking for the source. You don't touch any switch, and that includes light switches, because a switch makes a tiny spark. You don't use the phone inside. You get out, and you call from outside. That's not a skill so much as a decision made in advance. And making it in advance is exactly the point, because in that moment you will not be thinking clearly. Nobody does. You'll do whatever you already decided you'd do. Same for the individual appliances. There are little handles behind the stove, at the fireplace, by the water heater. Handle in line with the pipe means on, across the pipe means off. That's the universal rule, and it applies to water valves too. Number 7. Know when to stop and call someone. This is a skill. I mean that seriously. Knowing your own limit is worth as much as any practical ability on this list, and it's the one that keeps you out of the emergency room. I don't clean my own gutters. Decided, permanently, not revisiting it. My neighbors get up there every autumn and save $100, and good for them, truly. I'm not being superior. I pay the man, and I'd pay him double. Anything above a stepladder, anything in the panel beyond flipping a breaker, anything with gas, anything with real weight, I call somebody. Here's my line, if it's useful. 3 questions. Am I going higher than my stepladder? Could this hurt me if it goes wrong, rather than just annoy me? Would I be doing it alone with nobody knowing? If any answer is yes, I hire it out, no further argument with myself. That last question matters more than people realize. There's a real difference between climbing a ladder with somebody downstairs and climbing one in an empty house when nobody expects to hear from you until Thursday. Living alone doesn't just change what you can do, it changes what a mistake costs. And I want to say this plainly, because I know a lot of us carry a strange guilt about it. You are not failing some solo competition by paying somebody. There is no scoreboard. I spent years doing everything myself, partly to prove something, to whom I genuinely couldn't tell you, and I proved it. Message received. I can stop now. Number 8. Keep the numbers written down before you need them. Get a plumber, an electrician, a handyman who does small jobs. The most useful of the lot. and the hardest to find. And get them now, on an ordinary Tuesday, when nothing is wrong. Because otherwise, here's what happens, and I've watched it happen to friends. Water is coming through the ceiling, you're searching online in a panic, you ring the first company that answers, and they can hear in your voice that you're desperate, and you pay whatever they say. That is not the moment to be shopping. The best way to find them is to ask your neighbors, who do you use? Are they any good? Did they turn up when they said? Far better than any online review, and it has the pleasant side effect of starting a conversation with the people around you, which is worth doing anyway when you live by yourself. Then write the numbers somewhere physical, not only in your phone, a card on the fridge, a page in a binder, taped inside a cupboard door, because the day you need it might be the day the phone is dead, or dropped, or, and this is the one nobody thinks about, the day somebody else is in your house helping you and can't get into it. I keep a little binder, trades, utility account numbers, and a page where I write what was done to this house and when, the year the furnace was serviced, when the water heater went, when the roof was looked at, and I'll tell you what that binder is actually for, because it isn't information. When you live alone, the thing that frightens you isn't the broken furnace, it's the feeling of being caught out, something happening and having no idea what to do and nobody to ask. A page of numbers written down in advance removes almost all of that. It isn't about the plumber, it's about knowing there is a plumber. So there they are: water off, breaker reset, ladder safely, smoke alarm battery, car basics, gas off, knowing your limit, and the numbers written down. And before I let you go, the individual skills matter less than the thing underneath them. Nobody expects you to become a tradesman at 65. That was never the goal, and if I've made it sound that way, I've explained it badly. You're not going to rewire anything, neither am I. The goal is that this house stops feeling like something that might ambush you. Because that's what it feels like at the start, when you're newly on your own, like living inside a machine you don't understand, that could break in ways you couldn't handle, at a time of its choosing. And that feeling is genuinely exhausting, and it doesn't announce itself. It just sits in the background, making you slightly tense in your own home. What dissolves it isn't mastery. It's this. You know where the important switches are, you can handle the small things, and for the big things, you know exactly where your line is, and you've got a name and a number on the other side of it. That's competence. It isn't doing everything, it's never being caught completely flat-footed, and you build it one small afternoon at a time, not in a weekend, not in a burst of determination, one thing at a time over a year or two, and then one day you notice you're not tense about the house anymore. I couldn't tell you when that happened for me. It just did, after enough small afternoons. So start with the water valve, today. Find it, turn it, label it. Now, I want to hear yours. What's the thing you taught yourself to do that you're proudest of? Or the one you still hire out and absolutely refuse to feel bad about? I want those too, because I think a lot of people need permission on that one. Put it in the comments. These always turn into the best conversations we have here, and somebody who's just started living on her own and is frightened of her own furnace is going to read them and feel a great deal braver. And if you like this sort of practical, honest talk about living on your own, you're very welcome here. Give it a like, subscribe if you'd like to stay, and I'll be right here next time. Take good care of yourself. Bye for now.